Hello everyone. Today we're running the acequia again, which is the community watering system for gardens and farms. And I've shown you the acequia a couple times, but basically just coming into the property. So I'm going to show you, we're going to go off the property now and actually go to the place where we have to set up, we have to basically put in a little dam, a temporary dam, so that it flows to our property. So this is it. It looks like a river, but this is man-made. It's the road we drove across, and it flows down that way, and that's kind of the direction of the property. So these acequias belong to the community, and they kind of branch through a community. And even if it goes through someone's property, the actual water and the paths on the other side belong to the community, and there's usually makeshift ladders that they put at fence lines where it crosses so people can get up and over the fence easily. And here's our junction. So this is where it normally flows, but we need to divert it to go up this way. And we've got a bunch of logs over there that we're going to put in these slots that you see. So we've got one board in there, and you can see it's still kind of flowing over it and actually under it as well. But already the water's flowing up our direction. And now Hannah's going to put in the last one. There it goes. So we also put this pond liner on it to kind of seal up the hole between the boards. So we basically get higher water flow. It's really going now. So we got to hurry on back to the farm so we can clear up any basically clogs that come from leaves and branches and stuff like that. So there's the water flowing, and it's about to meet someone's property there, so we're not going to go in there, but they keep it maintained, and this is a neighbor that we talk with to coordinate this type of stuff. Looks like the garden's gonna get a double watering. Rain on the way. That looks like a lot of rain. And that'll be the first big rain that we've had basically all spring. So the water is on its way, and it's gonna come through here into this property. And now we have blocked it off from passing on to the next property, right? So all that water will flow this way, which is where the garden is. Here's one of those old ladders I told you about. Basically, it's kind of like an A-frame situation, one on one side and then one on the other. But you can see the other one, let's see, it's basically on the ground over there. It fell apart. So this is very old, right? So we basically had to put another ladder over there so that we could cross. Here comes the water. It's almost to the pipe. You see, you can kind of collect a lot of stuff. We did a pretty good cleaning early on in the season, so it's not really enough to cause any problems. So first it hits this little rock dam, which is meant to raise the water high enough so that it will follow this little path and feed that tree right there. And then the rest onto the garden. Here it comes down this way, kind of blocking it off there a little bit. And we've got our first Y, one going that way, one going this way. And then we actually have another Y, one going that way and one going that way. There's Jesse.
Yay, water! Water from sky. God bless.
Woo.
Seems like it's pretty clear today.
So this is gonna fill up this pond here. Look, this yellow dock basically here an edible plant that grows in this dried up pond. And this will take a little while to fill up, and then it will overflow that direction where the kitty's going. Where we're going. Kitty, you just want to get pet, don't you? And here's the other pond. If you went the other direction at that earlier Y here. So this one's about filled up and is about to overflow down that way. So while we're waiting, I might as well show you some cool stuff. This is a little greenhouse full of Hushu Wu, which is a Chinese medicine herb that's been here like 4 or 5 years, and then you harvest the root, kind of like ginseng, you know, you need to leave it there for a long time. So anyways, that's gonna be a lot of really good medicine. Here's a hoop house which had its stuff blown away. These are some, what do they call these? Currants, so you can see the little berries there. And this one, is this one ready? So this one has some actual currants that are ready. So those darker, those orangish ones are ready to eat. So the nice thing about the currants on this property is that they're all over the place. That's another currant. And they're actually in different colors. So I think there's a red one over here that hasn't popped out yet. Here's another yellow one, right? And they all kind of come out at different times. So I think those are going to be turning black. You can see some black ones. Right. So right back there. And this one seemed to have been kind of, oh, it's not so bad today. Yesterday it looked like it had kind of been overtaken by some weird silky or spidery. Yeah, you can kind of see it there, right? It looks like some insects have been messing around here. And you can sometimes find little worms in the currants. Here's another one of those. I think this is dock again. Giant deliciousness. I don't even know all these plants. This plant has very interesting flowers. The bees were going crazy on them yesterday. And that's like some kind of locust. Bunch more back there. That's an almond tree back there. Last year we made some videos about eating almonds, and you can even eat the almond fruit. I think this is another currant. So anyways, you know, it's like mid-spring and the garden's already bearing fruit with the currants, and basically it's going to be putting out different stuff. You know, it'll change through the seasons, but there will be constant food basically until fall or late fall. So that's one of the fun things about living on the farm, is basically you always get to eat something and it's always new. So let's go check on that water. Okay, this first pond next to the pear tree, which I sure hope has fruit this year, is now overflowing, and you can see the water flowing down, about to enter the garden. And now it's in the garden, and it's going to flow in an S shape, up that way, back over, down this way, back over, back up that way. There's my house, which I'm going to retreat to in like 30 seconds because it's starting to rain. But you can see all of this is going to fill with water. This is just one half of the garden, all the way to this pond, and then this pond will fill up and it will overflow off that way. So if we ever wanted to get that property, we could also have this water flow out there, and could probably grow a lot of food that direction. So. And then the other branch is going to do the same thing. It's going to S through that part of the garden. So that's the general idea with the acequia, and it's starting to rain, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. But if you want to see more about this, then I've actually made 2 other videos about this, and you can just go to my website, Cahlen.org, search for acequia, and you'll see those videos. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider sharing it. If you'd like to help me out in a more substantial way, you can learn how to do so at Cahlen.org/gift. And if you'd like to have a one-on-one conversation with me, whether publicly or privately, you can learn how to do so at Cahlen.org/one-on-one. Thanks again for watching.